Last night I got to see the long-awaited Beetlejuice 2 with my daughter. She's a massive Beetlejuice fan, but was it any good? And should you take your younger kids to see it? Let's go. So the original Beetlejuice, released in 1988, finally gets the long-rumoured sequel. I saw this in the cinema back in the day, and I've seen it many times since. It was the first big break, big budget, quirky film for Tim Burton. It became a great success, putting his trademark look and dark elements onto the screen, but in a kind of family-friendly way. Fast forward 36 years, and we get Beetlejuice, which in short feels like it was made maybe just a year later, and it slots perfectly to the original 98's look. Same sort of characters, effects, set pieces, and of course, the classic performance from Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice himself, all of which made the original such fun to watch. But was this sequel worth the wait, and should you take your younger kids to see this? So the story revolves around Winona Ryder's Lydia Deetz. She's now older and making paranormal TV shows, and at the same time she's juggling being a widowed single mum to newcomer Astrid Deetz, played by Jenna Ortega. Lydia hears of the passing of her father Charles from the original film and finds herself meeting up with stepmom Delia Deetz, the art guru, played by Catherine O'Hara from the original film. The funeral takes place back at the classic old house, previously owned by the Maitlands, in which Lydia also brings along her daughter Astrid. And before you know it, the old model in the attic's discovered, and things start to go pear-shaped when somebody utters the classic Beetlejuice name 3 times, which sets the juice loose, and this time it's newcomer Astrid who eventually ends up getting roped into the underworld. We're then presented with a movie that's as crazy and wacky as the original, all looking and sounding exactly the same, which if you're a fan is a good thing. Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice looks, acts, moves and sounds exactly as if he made the first film yesterday. It's quite amazing just how much energy and talent this guy has. He's now in his 70s and he steals every scene he's in. His actual screen time in the original was around 17 minutes and it's probably not too much longer in this. But in that regard, it just seems to work when he just kind of pops up, causes some mayhem, and then pops back up later. It does work. We also get a plethora of new characters, such as the introduction of Beetlejuice's ex-wife, played by Monica Bellucci, and the awesome Wolf Jackson, played by Willem Dafoe. But for fear of spoilers, I'm going to leave it at that and not get any further into the story or characters too much. Juggling all these plot points, though, for each character does become a bit cumbersome, and some pay off while others lead to absolutely nothing, and as such, a disappointment. There's just too much going on at times, and while the film moves along at a brisk pace, it may have been better to focus more on the key thread and expand that part of the story with maybe some solid connecting characters just here and there. As an example, the first 30 minutes is pretty quiet and it kind of chugs along, not bringing much to the actual meat of the story, and I found myself waiting for things to happen too. But all said and done though, along with Michael Keaton, we do get great performances from Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara, just as they were in the original film, and then Jenna Ortega, who's different to the Wednesday that she's been in from the Addams Family spin-off. And then Beetlejuice himself is just awesome throughout. The film is just Beetlejuice through and through. It's what you'd expect. It's got that classic Tim Burton style back to form and the original soundtrack. Now, in regards to this being a PG movie, be warned. There are some images that could possibly scare younger kids. I think around maybe 9 or 10 year old it'll probably be fine. However, it is a little heavier in the gruesomeness and some of the kind of imagery than the original. And some parts could be too disturbing for anyone younger. Or certainly all may appear fine until they lay in bed later that night, shut their eyes, and they're replaying images in their mind that they've just seen. So be cautious, maybe check it out yourself first or do some further research, especially speak to anyone that's seen it. So my final thoughts, I enjoyed my time with this. I went with my daughter, she's a massive fan of the original film, but she's now 18 herself and a big Tim Burton fan. But even so, we both came out thinking it was such a wacky, strange film, and a kind of maybe 7 out of 10 way. Enjoyable, but not quite up to the original. Let me know what you think in the comments below, but until next time, keep smiling peeps.